Griddles are still clocking in as the most sought-after backyard appliance of 2024, but with so many brands to choose from, how do you make sure that you choose one that can do everything that you want it to? I'm David Gafford, and I test over 70 cooking appliances per year. Last year's Griddle Roundup has gotten over 400,000 views in the past year, so it's time for a 2024 update. We have 8 griddles from 8 different brands in today's throwdown, so let's meet the contenders. The Blackstone Omnivore 28-inch is the lowest priced in our roundup at $349. Newly released this year is the Camp Chef Gridiron, coming in at $499. Next is the Pit Boss Deluxe 5-burner for $529. The Loco Series 2 36-inch griddle is $699. The brand new Weber Slate 30-inch griddle with extendable side table retails for $799. The Traeger Flat Rock comes in at $899. The Halo 4B is $999. And finally, the Grilla Grills Primate is the most expensive in our roundup, coming in at $1099. Just as in every other roundup we've done on the channel, here's the disclaimer. Each of these griddles have been selected and provided to us by the manufacturer. If you disagree with the model or the size that we're doing in this test, just know that the manufacturer selected this item. Additionally, none of these brands have paid to be a part of today's test. They haven't told us what we can or what we can't say. However, we will earn an affiliate commission if you click any of our links and purchase any of these griddles. There are a ton of data points and a lot of charts that are coming up, so stick with us to the end and you can get your own downloadable griddle buying cheat sheet to take advantage of the hundreds of hours of testing that we've done for you. Prices always seem to be changing, so make sure you check out the links in the description below to find the current price. You will help out our family and our channel when you use those links, and we make sure that we send you to the best price we're aware of. I call that a win-win. I'm sure you noticed there's a wide range of griddle sizes in our comparison, with the largest being 37 inches and the smallest coming in at 28 inches. You can see the breakdown in griddle sizes here, but basically there's a group of griddles that range from 28 to 31 inches and another group that ranges between 36 and 37 inches. The Weber and Blackstone are also available in larger sizes as well as what you see here. So what's the difference in capacity between a 28-inch griddle and a 37-inch griddle? Let me show you using the magic of pancakes. Melissa made a batch of her homemade buttermilk pancake recipe on each of these griddles to see how many standard size pancakes could fit, as well as if the grease drain impacted the capacity at all. We were able to fit 15 1/4 cup size pancakes on the Blackstone, Traeger, and the Weber. We only made 14 on the Primate, trying to avoid the grease drain, but in hindsight, we certainly could have added one more slightly smaller one if we would have tried a little harder. The larger griddles all comfortably fit 18 pancakes with no trouble at all. Speaking of pancakes, if you'd like to see how we make our buttermilk pancake recipe, check out the description below for the link. We've shot a video to show you exactly how Melissa does it. As you can see, none of these flat tops are made of stainless steel. If you want to get into the stainless steel griddle market, it's going to be quite a bit higher than $1,000 for a unit. All of these models have regular steel griddle tops, and there's one primary problem with those that I bet you can guess. They can rust if you don't take care of them. I don't want to drone on and on about how to take care of a griddle top, but if you're interested in trying to find the best way to take care of your griddle top and ensure that it doesn't rust, let me know down in the comments below, and we'll add a video on that to our upcoming content calendar to help everyone out. Some of these griddle surfaces are a little more rough, while others are silky and smooth, which made me wonder if I could cook an over medium egg on each model and not have it stick or break when we flipped it to the other side. Now, I won't spend much time here because it turns out all of them can do an over medium egg without any real difficulty. Next, we'll take a look under the hood and see what kind of burners we're dealing with. The Blackstone Omnivore has 2 burners putting out 24,000 BTUs. The Weber Slate has 3 burners at 36,000 BTUs. Traeger has 43,500 BTUs of power in 3 burners, and Loco puts out 46,000 BTU in 3 burners as well. Both the Loco and the Traeger Flat Rock feature baffles to separate the burners to help with temperature control. The Camp Chef Gridiron and the Halo Elite 4B both have 4 burners at 48,000 BTUs. The Grill's Primate puts out 60,000 BTUs with its 4 burners, and the Pit Boss Deluxe has 5 burners with a total of 62,000 BTUs. Something unique to call out here in this category is the fact that while the Halo has 4 burners, they each have dual zones, giving you the ability to light only the front half instead of the full burner. When I'm buying a griddle, I want to make sure that that flat top can cook as evenly as I want it to. My favorite test to check the evenness on griddles is to take a loaf of sliced bread and evenly space it out across the griddle top and let it toast for 5 minutes at 350 degrees. We measure the griddle top with our ThermalWorks IR gun, and once we see an average right at 350 degrees, we place the bread down on each unit. Here's the Loco, Traeger, Halo, and the Grilla results after 5 minutes of toasting. And here's the Weber, Camp Chef, Pit Boss, and the Blackstone after 5 minutes as well. The most even cooking of the 8 models came from the Traeger, Weber, and the Camp Chef. If I was going to call a winner, I'd say that the Traeger had the most even cooking across all slices, followed by the Weber Slate, which came close to the Traeger, but had some spotty coverage but great color. The Gridiron I would place in third solely because the right-hand 3 slices came up quite pale while the rest of the griddle looked almost perfect. The 2 that I would place at the bottom would be the Blackstone with a very dark center and almost white edges, and the Pit Boss with a super dark streak straight down the middle. In just a minute, I'm going to show you how well these griddles performed in windy conditions, but before we do, I want to take a look at how these griddles are put together. The cart and external construction materials that these models use are varied, but stainless steel is a rarity in this price range. Most of these grills are made from steel, either cold rolled or hot rolled. I don't have anybody at the factory sending reports to me, so I'm not sure exactly how they're made. Brands don't exactly seem to be very forthcoming with that information. The only model made from stainless steel is the Grill's Primate, which is likely partially why it's the most expensive griddle in the bunch. However, that price is more likely due to the fact that the Primate also includes a full set of grill grates. If that piques your interest, go ahead and check out the link in the card above or down in the description below, as we've already done a full review on the Griddle Primate where you can find out even more. When it comes to moving these appliances around the patio, there are a couple of standouts though. And the Loco Griddle has the best wheels of the bunch. Just large and oversized wheels with a great locking mechanism. By far my favorite to move around. Second, I'd go with the Halo with the rollerblade style wheels. It's easy to both move and lock into place. At the bottom of the list, I'd put the Blackstone with only 2 wheels and 2 stationary legs. If you like to do the shuffle when moving your grill, this is the horse you want to ride. Cooking height is something that you want to strongly consider when you look at a griddle to purchase. Now, Melissa is 5'2", I'm 5'11", so we vary quite a bit in the cooking height that we think is right for us. There's about an 8-inch difference in cooking height between these models, with the Loco having the highest cooking position at 40 inches and the Blackstone with the lowest cooking height at 32.5 inches high. Since we're based out of the Midwest and wind is a constant for us, we want to make sure that the griddle that we have here on site can really stand up to the breeze when it comes through. We put a fan on the side of each griddle and set it to medium-low to simulate a steady wind. With the fan running, we attempted to cook a pound of bacon on each griddle to see if the wind made a difference. And here are the results on the Grilla Primate, Halo Elite, Pit Boss 5-burner, and the Traeger Flat Rock, with the wind coming from the left side. And here are the Blackstone Omnivore, Loco Series 2, Camp Chef Gridiron, and Weber Slate with the wind coming from the right. The Grilla Primate, Traeger Flat Rock, Halo Elite 4B, and the Weber Slate all passed the wind test with flying colors. I would cook in the wind with any of these models. The Grilla Primate had the best bacon cook this year, followed by the Traeger Flat Rock and the Halo Elite 4B. The Blackstone struggled to cook the bacon closest to the fan, very similar to the cook that we got from the Loco Griddle. The Pit Boss was very much affected by the wind. The Camp Chef Gridiron showed us an even gradient from fully cooked at the farthest away to barely cooked closest to the fan. At this point, you're probably wondering what we did with 8 griddles full of pancakes, bacon, eggs, and toast. Every year we celebrate Christmas in July with Melissa's family here at the house, and with 17 mouths to feed for about a week, we took advantage of the hungry family members by making them eat the same breakfast for 5+ days in a row. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. Cleaning each of these griddles is one of the unfortunate tasks of griddle ownership. You can't just walk away when you're done cooking with any of these models, or the top is going to rust. Here is how each model is set up to make cleaning easier. With the Blackstone, you just push all of the grease to the drain at the back of the griddle. There's a drip tray located on the back that is always exposed to rain, critters, and the elements. If you forget to clean it after every cook, it's a mess. The Pit Boss has a drain towards the front of the left-hand side and utilizes a cup sitting on a small shelf. As long as the griddle is opened, the grease cup has a lid. As soon as you close the lid, it's available to the rain, and in our case, the dog, to clean. If you don't empty it every time, this can be trouble. The Traeger has a grease drain built into the left side of the front, and I'll admit that I do lose food down here while I'm cooking. What this allows, though, is a huge grease bucket just under the front of the griddle that is waterproof and can go multiple cooks without needing to empty it. The new Camp Chef gridiron seems to have taken a page from the Flat Rock, with their drain being in the front center and a very large grease bucket behind the front panel. The Griddle Primate drain is in the front left corner, and it flows to a grease cup under the left side shelf. Since the shelves don't fold, it's relatively safe from the rain, but it's still in open air for bugs and critters. The grease tray is on the small side, so this is one that I would clean after each use. The Halo Elite has a grease drain in the back of the unit that empties into a large bucket with a rain cap. There's a squeegee on the bottom of the lid where you can wipe off your tools, but ours hasn't fared well in the last year of use. Lots of cooking for hundreds of teens has torture tested this unit. The Loco has the smallest grease hatch of them all, located in the front left side, and it resists much food accidentally finding the grease cup. That's the benefit. The downside is that it's harder to clean since it's such a small entry point. The grease cup is stored inside the cabinet, away from rain and critters. The Weber has an oblong grease hatch on the front left side, and it falls into a grease tray that's also inside the griddle body. Easily accessible from a pull-out drawer, it's not as large as the Traeger and Camp Chef, but it's just as easy to clean. Side shelves are something that we often overlook when buying a griddle, but I'm here to tell you that you really can't have enough prep space when you're cooking on a flat top. Whether you're cooking breakfast foods, hibachi, or smash burgers, there are a lot of ingredients, dishes, and tools that need to be easily accessible. The griddle with the largest shelving area is the Weber Slate at 422 square inches, and that's not even counting the extendable side table that comes with this model, along with a bottom shelf and 2 outdoor storage bins to hold all of your tools and accessories. The Pit Boss griddle lid doubles as side shelves, offering 419 square inches of work and prep space. The Loco Series 2 and the Traeger Flat Rock both have very sizable side shelves, giving 372 square inches of prep space each. One advantage of the Traeger is the optional pop and lock system, where you can purchase accessories like a paper towel holder, tool hooks, and storage bin to help your shelf space go even further. The shelves on the gridiron are good sized at 342 square inches, and Camp Chef has similar magnetic accessories to Traeger that you can add on as well. The Halo shelves are decently sized with 315 square inches and have cutouts in the front that can house their magnetic griddle tools when not in use. The Blackstone and Griddle Primate have the smallest space at 241 and 231 square inches. It's also important to let you know which shelves fold down if you want to have a smaller footprint for storage. The 3 models with stationary shelves are the Griddle Primate, Weber Slate, and the Blackstone Omnivore units. Those shelves do not fold down. In just a minute, I'm going to show you some temperature tests that we conducted, including ambient temperature readings on the side shelves when the griddle is hot. But first, I want to address a couple of compatibility factors in these griddles. If you have natural gas as a fuel source, 5 of the 8 of these models can either be ordered with natural gas as the fuel source or can be converted with an optional kit later. These models are the Camp Chef Gridiron, the Halo Elite 4B, Grills Primate, Weber Slate, and the Blackstone Omnivore units. While most of the units in this test aren't designed to be used in an outdoor kitchen build, the Griddle Primate is the exception. Grills has released their own outdoor kitchen system, and you can order the Primate without the cart that will drop right into their specially designed countertop unit. There are 2 griddles in this roundup that have an AC power adapter, so let's take a look at those, starting with the Loco. The Loco has an incredible digital readout and display on each of the burner knobs. It tells you the exact temperature you're setting the griddle, which obviously requires power to accomplish. There's a power adapter that plugs into the side of the grill, which means that this unit needs to be within access of power when in use. The second model is the Traeger, and it uses AC power for ignition as well as the lights on the burner knob showing if there's an active flame for each burner. You can operate the Traeger on batteries, which are found right next to where the power cord plugs into the unit. This allows you to ignite the unit without the AC plug, meaning that you can use it off-site when you don't have power around. We get a lot of questions about how low of a temperature each of these griddles can run, so we ran a series of tests using the ThermalWorks IR gun and the Pro Surface Thermapen. The Thermapen has a flat swivel tip on the end designed for flat surfaces and was perfect for this test as long as we stayed under 572 degrees. Once we got over that, I switched to the IR gun, which can handle over 1000 degrees. We ran each griddle on low for 15 minutes, and here are the temperatures that we averaged across the cooking surface for each griddle. I felt that 15 minutes was a fair test, but in reality, if I'm cooking for a crowd, I want my griddle to continue to run low as long as I'm cooking, so I let the test run all the way to the 30-minute mark, and here's how the numbers changed for each griddle. The Loco had the lowest consistent temperature of the testing group by almost 100 degrees, coming in at 247.5 degrees. At the 30-minute mark, it actually went down about 10 degrees in temperature, so there's amazing low temperature control with the Loco. The Halo Elite 4B had the highest low temperature at 469 degrees, and at the 30-minute mark, it was all the way up to 540 degrees, set all the way to low. We have all of these graphs available for you to download, so stick with us to the end to find out how to get your free griddle buying guide download. At this point, the griddles were already warmed up, and it seemed like a logical next step to run a high temperature test and see how hot they would get after 15 minutes set to full power. Here's the graph of the highest average temperature measured across the entire griddle surface for each griddle in the testing group. The Weber Slate takes the prize for a high temperature of 650 degrees, almost 200 degrees hotter than the high of 480 degrees for the Loco Series 2. I also wanted to test the temperatures around the griddle to see how hot it got where we stood, as well as how hot it gets on each of the side shelves while cooking. We ran this test alongside the lowest and highest temperature test, so for the first 30 minutes the griddle was set to low, and for the last 15 minutes it was set as high as it would go, and here are the results. During our testing, the Loco side shelves were the least affected by the griddle heat, staying under 114 degrees for the entire 45 minutes. The Camp Chef gridiron shelves were the most affected, reaching temperatures as high as 200 degrees when set to high. We missed an opportunity and probably should have put more probes on the bottom shelf where applicable, but did capture a clip showing the Pit Boss bottom shelf measuring around 140 degrees. This chart shows the warranty length on each model, ranging from 5 years for the Weber, Traeger, and Halo, all the way down to 1 year for the Blackstone, Camp Chef, and the Loco. This has been a ton of information trying to summarize hundreds of hours of research and testing, but let me try to summarize this into a few final thoughts. The Blackstone Omnivore was the smallest and least expensive griddle in our group, and as you would expect, it didn't perform exactly to the same level as those twice the price. We would all be shocked if it did. There's a good reason why the other griddles cost so much more than this one. However, for anyone working with a smaller budget looking to get into flat top grilling, this Blackstone is certainly worth trying out. Just get to know where your cool and hot spots are and learn how to work with and around them, and you can still cook great food on this griddle, even with its limitations. The Camp Chef gridiron really punches above its weight class. It's priced at only $499 with performance to match griddles that are hundreds of dollars more. This is definitely a great option to consider if you're looking for something under 500 bucks. The Pit Boss Deluxe 5-burner is another budget-friendly choice. It's the only griddle in our lineup with 5 burners, and that's a lot of control coming in at such a low price. The Loco Series 2 36-inch griddle amazes me with the smart temp technology and just the burner knobs. The digital readout eliminates the guesswork in setting your temperature, and the thermocouple control keeps the griddle temperature right where you want it. If you want to know that your griddle is dialed in within 25 degrees of where you set it, the Loco is a stunner. My favorite thing about the Weber Slate is that the griddle top comes seasoned right out of the box. There's no coating, so metal utensils are good to go. I really like the bin system underneath for storage and the accessory options that can be purchased for the side shelves. I can tell that the people who designed this griddle actually cook on griddles because the functionality of space was spot on. The Traeger Flat Rock is the griddle that I've used the most out of the group. I've had it on and off a trailer 15 times and cooked on it for thousands of people. It's an incredibly even griddle, and it's impervious to the wind with its recessed griddle. Plus, I love the workspace the side shelves offer. I don't think that you can go wrong with the Flat Rock. We've also done a full review of the Flat Rock, so go ahead and check it up here in the card or down in the description below if you'd like to see even more on that model. I've also had the Halo Elite 4B griddle on a trailer, cooking for thousands, and I've learned that this is a very hot griddle. It's not a master of the low temperatures, but if you're cooking burgers, it's a beast. Lots of fun gadgets and features I'm sure we'll see copied into other brands in the near future with the Halo model. The Grilla Grills Primate really shines because of its makeup and versatility. Composed of stainless steel, this is the griddle that I would estimate will outlive all of the others in the group. It can be installed in an outdoor kitchen and use natural gas as fuel. The burners are strong, and that means that it puts a mean sear on smash burgers. It's the only griddle here that's also a full gas grill, so it's 2 grills in one for just a few bucks more than the competition, which are griddle only. We understand that this can be information overload. We've compiled all of the facts and data into an easy to read and compare chart. We'll also throw in any data graphs that we use during our testing. You can have it all. We've done all of the work for you, so if you think that chart might be helpful when you're making your next griddle purchase, go check out the description below where you can find that link. If you watched this video and thought, man, the griddle I really wanted to see isn't in this video this year, go back and check out the one from last year where we had 8 griddles in that roundup as well. You might just find the model you're looking for in that video, so I'll link it up here in the card as well as down in the description below, and you can go and watch that next. I'm David Gafford, and behind the camera is Melissa, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.